A new study warns that intermittent fasting may increase the risk of heart attack by up to 91%. But here's the strange part. Thousands of people over 50 who have followed this method report more stable blood pressure, lower cholesterol, and most importantly, less dependence on heart medications than before. So, what's the truth? Is intermittent fasting actually harmful to your heart, or is this just part of a larger conflict between pharmaceutical solutions and natural lifestyle changes? In this video, we're going to break down every layer of this controversial issue. I'll explain exactly what happens to your cardiovascular system when you start intermittent fasting, which factors can make IF dangerous if done incorrectly, and how people over 50 can use fasting as an effective way to prevent heart attack and stroke. The answer isn't about simplicity. It's about informed choices and taking action at the right time. Are you ready to stay with me until the end to find out the truth? First, we need to go back to the source of the headline that caused widespread concern. A recently published study made waves in the media by claiming that eating within a short window, specifically less than 8 hours per day, could significantly raise the risk of heart attack and cardiovascular-related death. But on closer inspection, this study was not a randomized controlled trial. It was an observational survey based on self-reported eating habits from a group of individuals. The researchers did not control for other key variables, such as food quality, physical activity, stress levels, sleep patterns, or medical history. Many of the participants who ate within a short time frame already had chronic conditions, lived in social isolation, or followed unhealthy lifestyles. These factors made the data prone to bias and unable to reflect the true effects of intermittent fasting. So, how does intermittent fasting actually affect heart health? When you reduce the number of meals you eat each day, your body has more time to rest, stabilize insulin levels, lower blood sugar, and prevent spikes in triglycerides. These changes help reduce chronic inflammation, a major contributor to damage in the arterial lining. Fasting also activates a process called autophagy, which helps remove old and damaged cells in the cardiovascular system, improves arterial elasticity, and slows the progression of atherosclerosis. It's no coincidence that several high-quality studies have shown intermittent fasting can lower blood pressure, raise HDL, and reduce harmful LDL cholesterol in people with prehypertension or obesity in middle age. However, not everyone benefits from intermittent fasting. If you fast but break your fast with processed food, fried meals, simple sugars, or unhealthy fats, you could be doing more harm to your blood vessels. Fasting alone cannot undo poor eating habits. In addition, if you fast for extended periods while experiencing chronic stress, poor sleep, or inadequate hydration and electrolytes, rising cortisol levels can destabilize your blood pressure, increase heart rate, and raise the risk of arrhythmia. For those over 50, intermittent fasting must be approached with a clear understanding of your baseline health. If you're on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes, a sudden change in your eating schedule can lead to low blood sugar, dizziness, or electrolyte imbalances if not closely monitored. That doesn't mean you should give up. Instead, start with a gentle fasting window, such as 12 hours fasting and 12 hours eating, and gradually progress to 14-10 or 16-8 depending on how your body adapts. During eating periods, focus on whole foods that are rich in antioxidants and low in refined sugars to support blood vessels and heart cells as they recover. One key benefit that's often overlooked is that intermittent fasting improves insulin sensitivity, which is critical for people at risk of heart attack and stroke. As insulin stabilizes, blood glucose levels gradually decrease. The body begins to shift from relying on glucose to using fat as fuel, including visceral fat stored around the heart and liver. This contributes to lower blood lipids, reduced triglycerides, and the clearing of fat deposits around the coronary arteries. In fact, some studies have shown that intermittent fasting can even help reverse early-stage atherosclerosis by reducing platelet adhesion and improving blood circulation. However, all of these benefits only occur when intermittent fasting is done correctly. Fasting is not about skipping breakfast and then overeating late at night.
It's about balancing periods of digestive rest with periods of nourishing the body with the nutrients it truly needs. There's no one-size-fits-all eating window, but for older adults, the ideal eating period is typically between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. This schedule takes advantage of natural sunlight and helps align your circadian rhythm to support blood pressure, heart rate, and sleep regulation. To practice intermittent fasting safely and effectively after age 50, the first step is to define your goal. Are you trying to lower blood pressure, manage cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, or simply improve your overall heart health? Based on that goal, you can choose the most suitable fasting model. For beginners, starting with a 12-12 plan for 1 to 2 weeks is a good entry point. Once your body adjusts, you can move to 14-10 and then to 16-8. Keep in mind that your eating window should remain during daylight hours. Avoid eating late in the evening, ideally no food after 6 p.m., to reduce the workload on your heart at night. During eating periods, prioritize high-fiber foods like leafy greens, legumes, whole nuts, and low-sugar fruits. Pair these with clean protein sources such as salmon, organic chicken breast, pasture-raised eggs, and moderate amounts of healthy fats from olive oil, avocado, and nuts. Limit or avoid processed foods, fried oils, refined sugars, and white starches, as they all contribute to vascular inflammation and abnormal lipid levels. Stay well hydrated and consider electrolyte support if needed, especially in the morning when beginning your fast. This helps regulate blood pressure and keeps the heart functioning smoothly throughout the day.
Monitor your health markers closely during your fasting journey. At a minimum, every 3 months you should check your blood pressure, fasting glucose, HbA1c, total cholesterol, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, and, if possible, an inflammation marker like hsCRP. These numbers will help you determine whether fasting is truly improving your cardiovascular health. If you experience dizziness, an unusually rapid heart rate, or significant weight loss too quickly, adjust your fasting window or increase your intake of healthy fats and protein during meals. Finally, remember that intermittent fasting is not a short-term diet, it's a long-term lifestyle strategy. When done correctly, IF can be a simple yet powerful tool to help prevent heart attack and stroke, especially for people over 50. Don't be swayed by alarming headlines claiming that IF is dangerous for your heart until you've seen the full picture of the science and truly understand what your body needs. The small changes you make today can become the foundation for a healthier heart for years to come. If you're still unsure whether intermittent fasting is truly safe after age 50, look at the real-world results from people who have done it successfully. Many individuals between the ages of 55 and 75 have reported reducing or even stopping their blood pressure medications, sleeping better, having less joint inflammation, and achieving more stable blood sugar levels within just a few months of consistent, well-executed fasting. Some who previously relied on statins, diabetes medications, or diuretics have been able to reduce their dosage or discontinue them entirely under medical supervision. This suggests that when implemented properly, IF can be a powerful part of cardiovascular prevention, not just a passing trend. What matters most is starting with knowledge and self-awareness. No two people are the same when it comes to metabolism, medical conditions, or how the body adapts. That's why you should never copy someone else's eating plan. Instead, observe your own body's response. Persistent hunger, insomnia, dizziness, or weakness are signs you need to make adjustments. On the other hand, clearer thinking, stable blood pressure, and deeper sleep are strong indicators that you're on the right path. And don't forget the role of gentle movement in supporting intermittent fasting. Walking after meals, light yoga, meditation, or simply standing up regularly to break long periods of sitting all help improve circulation and reduce strain on the heart. This is especially important if you have a history of coronary artery disease, high blood pressure, or have experienced a minor stroke. When you pair intermittent fasting with an active, mindful lifestyle, you are building a natural layer of protection around your heart and brain. Comparing intermittent fasting to other diets for heart health. In the effort to prevent cardiovascular disease, the leading cause of death worldwide, diet plays a central role. Among the many nutritional strategies today, intermittent fasting has emerged as an approach not only for weight control but also for its potential benefits to heart health. But how does IF truly compare to other popular dietary models such as traditional caloric restriction or structured eating patterns like the DASH or Mediterranean diets? Below is a detailed comparison of these approaches based on factors directly related to cardiovascular health.
Effectiveness in weight loss and visceral fat reduction. Both IF and CR can lead to weight loss when implemented correctly. However, IF tends to preserve lean muscle mass better, especially when paired with a high-protein diet and regular physical activity. Multiple studies have shown that IF is more effective at reducing visceral fat than CR, which is particularly important because excess visceral fat is associated with increased inflammation, atherosclerosis, and coronary artery disease. Meanwhile, the Mediterranean and DASH diets can also support weight loss when total calorie intake is reduced. However, their impact on visceral fat is generally slower, particularly if there is no time-restricted component involved in eating behavior. Impact on blood sugar and insulin resistance. IF has shown superior results in lowering baseline insulin levels and improving insulin sensitivity, especially in individuals with metabolic syndrome or prediabetes. This mechanism reduces oxidative stress on blood vessels and enhances endothelial function, both of which are critical in maintaining cardiovascular health. CR can also improve blood sugar control, but it often does not lower baseline insulin as consistently as IF. This distinction is important, particularly for adults over 50 who tend to experience chronically elevated insulin levels and increased risk of vascular inflammation and plaque formation. The DASH and Mediterranean diets, while beneficial for overall metabolic health, typically include higher levels of carbohydrates from whole grains, fruits, and legumes. As a result, for individuals with underlying insulin resistance, the short-term benefits may not match those observed with IF. 3. Effects on blood lipids and chronic inflammation. One of the most well-documented benefits of intermittent fasting, IF, is its ability to lower triglycerides, increase HDL, and reduce levels of hsCRP, a key marker of inflammation. Several studies suggest that regular fasting triggers cycles of cellular self-cleaning, autophagy, which helps reduce chronic vascular inflammation, a critical factor in cardiovascular disease. Caloric restriction, CR, can also improve lipid profiles, but often leads to reductions in both LDL and HDL. In contrast, IF tends to maintain or even increase HDL more effectively. What's more, IF doesn't require strict fat restriction like CR or DASH and still improves lipid metabolism by optimizing fat-burning pathways. The Mediterranean and DASH diets are beneficial primarily due to their high content of unsaturated fats, such as olive oil and omega-3s, and antioxidants from vegetables, which help lower LDL and inflammation. However, these benefits usually take longer to appear and require long-term adherence compared to the faster results often seen with IF. 4. Compliance and impact on eating behavior. Many people find IF easier to stick to because it doesn't require constant calorie counting or avoiding entire food groups. Simply limiting eating to specific time windows like 16:8 or 18:6 reduces decision fatigue and gives a sense of control. That said, some individuals may struggle at first with hunger or low blood sugar, especially if they're used to frequent snacking. CR demands strict portion control, which can lead to psychological fatigue and a yo-yo effect if not maintained. The DASH and Mediterranean diets are more flexible and sustainable in the long run, but their fat loss and cardiovascular improvements tend to come slower, which can lead to early dropout in some cases.
5. Conclusion. IF is not the only option, but it is a powerful cardiovascular tool. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition. However, when done correctly with nutrient-dense foods, adequate sleep, and regular physical activity, IF can provide cardiovascular benefits equal to or greater than traditional eating patterns, thanks to its impact on insulin levels, inflammation, and visceral fat. Meanwhile, the Mediterranean and DASH diets remain excellent options for those who don't respond well to IF or prefer a more flexible eating style. What matters most is not the specific diet you choose, but how well you understand your body, track the right health markers, and maintain your habits consistently over time. Intermittent fasting and circadian rhythm, how it affects nighttime heart rate and blood pressure. The human body operates on a built-in 24-hour system called the circadian rhythm. This internal clock regulates nearly all physiological functions, including body temperature, hormones, energy metabolism, blood pressure, and heart rate. When it comes to cardiovascular health, aligning your eating pattern with the body's natural circadian rhythm is a key but often overlooked factor. Intermittent fasting, IF, especially time-restricted models based on the time of day, can help restore this natural rhythm, supporting more stable heart rates and naturally lower nighttime blood pressure. During the day, exposure to light signals the body to release cortisol, a hormone that helps wake you up, raise blood pressure and heart rate, and increase metabolic activity to prepare for daily activity. In the evening, as light decreases, melatonin rises, prompting relaxation, blood vessel dilation, and a natural drop in both blood pressure and heart rate. This is known as nighttime dipping, a physiologic drop in blood pressure during sleep. When this dipping pattern is lost, non-dipping, the risk of stroke, heart failure, and arrhythmias increases significantly. Many people habitually eat late dinners, snack at night, or consume the majority of their calories in the evening. This disrupts the body's transition to its nighttime rest state, forcing the metabolism to remain active when it should be slowing down. As a result, heart rate may remain elevated and blood pressure stays high longer into the night. Late eating also interferes with insulin, cortisol, and leptin regulation, impacting both sleep quality and nighttime cardiovascular function. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that individuals who ate dinner after 9 p.m. had higher nighttime heart rates, longer time to fall asleep, and a higher risk of metabolic dysfunction compared to those who ate earlier. IF models like 16-8 or 18-6, especially when practiced as early time-restricted feeding, for example, eating from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., have shown strong results in realigning the body's internal clock. When no food is consumed in the evening, the body can shift away from digestion and insulin management and enter a true physiologic rest state, allowing the heart and vascular system to follow their natural circadian cues. A 2018 study published in Cell Metabolism showed that after just 5 weeks of early time-restricted IF, people with prediabetes experienced significant reductions in nighttime blood pressure, more stable sleeping heart rates, and better balanced morning cortisol levels. Notably, these changes occurred independently of weight loss, confirming that the effects came directly from circadian rhythm alignment through IF.
When nighttime heart rate and blood pressure are naturally low, the heart doesn't have to work as hard, allowing more cellular recovery for both cardiac muscle and blood vessels. Avoiding food in the evening also promotes deeper sleep, a critical phase when the body produces growth hormone, regulates the autonomic nervous system, and reduces inflammation. Especially for individuals over 50, intermittent fasting, IF, is not only a metabolic tool, but also a way to reset circadian regulation that may be disrupted by age, stress, or artificial light exposure. However, if IF is practiced incorrectly, such as eating late, concentrating all calories in the evening, or skipping breakfast for extended hours, it can backfire. For example, the OMAD model, 1 meal a day eaten at 8 to 9 p.m., often results in elevated heart rate throughout the night, poor sleep quality, and increased baseline blood pressure, especially in sensitive individuals or those with a history of cardiovascular disease. To gain the full cardiovascular benefits of IF, it is essential to align your eating window with daylight hours and fast during the evening and night. This matches the body's natural circadian rhythm and helps maintain nighttime physiological rest.
IF is more than just a tool for managing weight or blood sugar. It is a powerful method for restoring cardiovascular circadian balance, improving nighttime heart rate and blood pressure. By eating in sync with the natural day-night cycle, you not only protect your heart but also support optimal function of the endocrine and nervous systems. Intermittent fasting and postmenopausal women's health. Menopause marks a major turning point in a woman's cardiovascular and metabolic health. The decline in estrogen doesn't just affect fertility, it also triggers a range of biological changes: increased abdominal fat, insulin resistance, abnormal lipid profiles, and a higher risk of high blood pressure and heart attacks. In this context, intermittent fasting, IF, has emerged as a promising tool to support overall and cardiovascular health for postmenopausal women if done correctly. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. It also plays a key role in metabolic regulation. After menopause, the sharp drop in estrogen leads to increased visceral fat accumulation, reduced insulin sensitivity, and elevated systemic inflammation. Many women notice that they gain weight rapidly, especially around the abdomen, even if they haven't changed their diet. This is often accompanied by sleep disturbances, mood swings, and persistent fatigue. Together, these factors create a risk spiral that significantly raises the chance of heart disease. One of the clearest benefits of IF is its ability to improve insulin sensitivity, especially in those with silent insulin resistance, a common condition among postmenopausal women. By creating daily fasting windows, IF helps lower baseline insulin levels, promotes fat burning, lipolysis, and reduces visceral fat, blood pressure, and triglycerides. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Translational Medicine found that a 14-10 IF protocol, eating within a 10-hour window, fasting for 14, led to significant reductions in belly fat, improved HOMA-IR scores, a measure of insulin resistance, and decreased levels of hsCRP, a marker of chronic inflammation, in postmenopausal women.
Sleep disruption, nighttime insomnia, and frequent hot flashes are common neuroendocrine symptoms after menopause. Late-night eating keeps the body in a digestive and insulin-secreting state, which interferes with deep sleep and often worsens hot flashes. IF, especially when meals are earlier in the day and fasting at night, can help reset the circadian rhythm, increase natural melatonin production, lower nighttime cortisol levels, and improve both sleep quality and the frequency of hot flashes. That said, IF is not without risks, especially if applied incorrectly. Postmenopausal women are already at higher risk for bone density loss, and prolonged fasting with inadequate nutrition may worsen osteoporosis if not properly managed. Excessive calorie restriction can also contribute to muscle loss, sarcopenia, which must be avoided. The solution is to adopt a flexible IF model, such as 14-10 or 12-12, and focus on nutrient-dense meals during eating windows. Prioritize foods rich in protein, calcium, vitamin D, and essential electrolytes to support both bone health and muscle preservation. Important guidelines for postmenopausal women practicing intermittent fasting. Avoid extreme fasting protocols such as OMAD, 1 meal a day, or 24-hour fasts unless supervised by a healthcare professional. Do not engage in fasting if you suffer from chronic insomnia, thyroid dysfunction, or high levels of stress. Aim to have your first meal around 9-10 a.m. and your last meal before 6 p.m. to support your natural circadian rhythm. If you are perimenopausal, track your menstrual cycle along with blood pressure, heart rate, and inflammation markers to make appropriate adjustments. Intermittent fasting can be an effective tool for postmenopausal women to restore metabolic balance, improve heart health, lower inflammation, and enhance overall quality of life. However, success depends on personalizing your IF approach. Avoid rigid plans and always combine fasting with a balanced diet, quality sleep, and regular physical activity. When done correctly, IF not only supports weight management, it also strengthens your heart, sharpens your mind, and helps your body recover more effectively from the profound hormonal shifts of menopause. If you're caring for aging parents or you've reached retirement age yourself, don't underestimate the positive impact of a consistent, well-timed eating routine.
Intermittent fasting is not a miracle cure, but it is a simple, cost-effective, medication-free tool that's entirely within your reach. All it takes is the right mindset, small daily actions, and steady commitment. Your heart will thank you for it. If you found the information in this video helpful, don't forget to hit that follow button right now. We provide clear, accurate, and practical medical guidance designed specifically for adults over 50 who want to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and live a healthier life without relying heavily on medication. Each week, you'll get new videos on nutrition, lifestyle habits, and how to take control of your heart health right from home. With just one click, you can begin making long-lasting changes for your health and the health of your loved ones. Follow the channel so you never miss an opportunity to live longer and live better every day.